had to share my beautiful scenery with you guys. And this is nothing compared to the early morning. Oh my goodness. It is just gorgeous out here. I love my surroundings. I love my scenery. I love how God is so super present. This is funny. There we go. I've got homestead and hardworking hands that are rough like sandpaper, and they do not operate these lovely touch machines, so I'm having to fight with them. Mrs., come on. Yeah, this is just, look at this. Gosh. It's a great solar day. These are the most wonderful days for solar power. It's nice, it's crisp, it's cold, it's bright, it's reflective, it's amazing. Come on, Copper. Look at this big fat guy. Is he like not all ready for winter? He's fat. What? Are you talking to everybody too? Tell him. Big fat cat. You can't get in the house without him being in the way. All right, here we go. We're gonna go in. Come on, Copper. She has been yelling at me all morning because she wants to enjoy this beautiful weather too. She wants to be outside for a walk. I can't do that right now. Look out, big cat. All right, welcome to my warm, humble abode. I think I saw Mr. Chad on here. Mr. Chad, you have been heavy on my mind this morning, and we're going to get a message later. Praying for you, brother. Hope all's well. I always know that when my friends pop in mind that they need prayers, so I was lifting you. Speaking of which, I gotta unravel here. It's warm in here. We need to really be lifting a lot of people in prayer right now. So much is going on everywhere, and I just want to list off a bunch of prayer needs that we have because they need our love. And if you need prayers, please do not hesitate to ask and request them. I just got a message. She's in her room and she's looking great. Mama T has just come out of her surgery. She had hip number 2 replaced this morning, so she's doing well, so that's a huge praise. I'd like to ask that you all please pray for our dear friend and author friend, Millie Copper. The Pacific Northwest had a lot of wind, a little bit yesterday, but more so the day before. And we had 60-mile-an-hour winds here, which I will share on in a little bit. But Wyoming was hit with 100-mile-an-hour winds, which also they ended up with a fire. And with the fire and the high winds, there was a lot of devastation. Also, the loss of a dear friend for Millie and someone that I was acquainted with also. So if you could please pray for Jerry and his family for their loss, I would so appreciate it. Please pray for Millie for the loss of her friend, as well as just the total devastation that many have experienced there. Roofs were ripped completely off of homes, chimneys taken out, trailers just embedded in garages. I mean, just stuff was just picked up and tossed. There's also another family in Montana that has had devastation over and over again. They lost their home. I believe it was to a fire initially. They were given a shed to live in while they were building their home, and that was annihilated also with the heavy winds. So they are really needing to get under roof for winter. So there's just, like I said, there's just so much going on. But please lift these people in prayer. Washington, much of Washington is flooding. I know that the island that our Miss Shelley lives on is also flooding, so keep them in your prayers. Okay, Chad, I just saw your message. Please pray for me and DM. I saw your message come through. I couldn't read it all, but see, Papa is so good. You were so heavy on my mind. I was already praying. I just didn't know what I was praying for. So we're right there with you, brother. Have your back. Miss Tammy's on here. She says good morning, and Tammy's holding you up in prayer also, Chad. Miss Laura's on here. We've got Miss Carol. Oh, and Mr. Lorenzo. Hey, buddy. How are you doing this morning? We won't leave you out of that mix. Miss Carol's from the UK, and she is joining us with her grandson, so that is awesome, awesome, awesome. Miss Laura says, prayers for you, Chad. May God's peace and wisdom fill your soul. Amen. Amen. Yeah, we'll cover you. I'll let the mountain man know and get him involved in the prayers as well. Carol's sending you prayers. Laura says, oh, Carol, how wonderful to have sweet baby visitors. Exactly. And I need to get on the community and share a picture. Last week, Carol was talking about Lorenzo's school pictures. And Lorenzo, you look very handsome, mind you. I will share those pictures on the community. I did not get a chance to. Things have been a little crazy. Shelly says, hi there, just back from filling the gas tank. Is that in preparation or that was just standard, Miss Shelley? And good morning. Carol says he's so excited. He's waving and saying hi. I'm waving back to you, buddy. One of these days, next Wednesday, Carol, next Wednesday, and next Wednesday, guys, we will have our monthly Zoom. So maybe things will work out that he can join then too. I know it's a day before Thanksgiving. I know you guys are all going to be busy baking, me too. But I figured, you know what? I'm not canceling it. We'll just do what we've done a couple times where we just jump on for a short time and love on each other. So hopefully Mr. Lorenzo can join us then too, so we can see his cute cheeks. He's such a cute kid. All right, so Chad, we're praying. Yes, a monthly Zoom. Our community does a monthly Zoom. So if you are not part of our community, go to TrayerWilderness.com/community and join us. You are welcome. It's just a benefit. Yes, same time as now, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless otherwise noted. Sometimes I do shift it, but that's what I'm planning for. So yes, same time as now. And if you're not part of our community, join us. We welcome everyone. We have such an amazing community of like-minded, faith-led, just amazing individuals, praising God greatly for what he is doing in our community. And as a benefit of being part of the community, we go face-to-face once a month, and it is so much fun. Miss Carol says it's 6:30 p.m. here. And by the way, sister, I am so sorry. I get Carol's messages, and I'm not able to answer messages on the fly. So I get to them a little later. And oftentimes that's after my workday. So what happens is I message Carol in my late hours, which happens to be her early wee hours of the morning. So I am so sorry, Miss Carol. I have my phone set, so it's on bedtime mode. So what that means is when I'm out, my phone's quiet. Otherwise, the mountain man would absolutely kill me. And yes, Chad. Oops, I'm touching the wrong screen. Yes, Chad, I will do that. And these sandpaper hands will make a lot of noise today. So yes, I will do that, Chad. You got it. Miss Shelley says, we are fine here, but there is going to be a supply problem as every route into Vancouver has been either flooded or washed away with no time estimate on when they will reopen. Dang. Well, sister, you were made for a time like this. That is today's topic. And you know what? This is what you prepared for. So you will be all right. I know God will take care of you. I know God will carry you through. I have no reservations on that. So we will be praying for you, though. And I know that God will see you through. So let his light shine through this. You're prepared. I know you are. Carol says, oh, Shelley, sending lots of love. Yes. The fill was not needed, but just to be ahead of the curve as I have to still go to work. Yes, exactly. And of course, fuel will be one of the other things that if they can't get through for food, they won't be able to get through for fuel either. So absolutely, Chad. Carol says, remember, I'm a night owl, so I'm usually up till about 2 to 3 a.m. every night. Girl, you're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts. I can't do that anymore. I am the first to admit I can't do that anymore. So before I jump into a fun topic today, this was divine. I'm not sure what God's plans are with this, but I know the crew that we have here will have fun with this. But I wanted, as I said, please lift these people in prayer. Pray for Bobby, continued prayers for Bobby. Bobby has joined our community. I'm giving a huge praise for that. You know, when we are going through tough times, when we are going through difficult struggles, there is such a great blessing that comes from being surrounded by good people and people that are going to lift and carry you to the other side. You know, sometimes we're not strong enough to do that on our own. And even if we are, or we think we are, it is nice to have others there with us. So I'm real excited that she joined us there. So you can communicate with Bobby, who we've been talking about for a long time in our community. Shelley says, if you want to see the damage, you can check out Czech News. It is the local news for the island. There has been one death due to a mudslide in the interior. That's just so crazy. There are 2 people missing from the same mudslide. Well, we will continue to pray for your area and for those individuals. You know, guys, I'm feeling really led to share something with you today. We had a friend who lost his wife. They are both very strong, faithful people, amazing people. And we didn't know right away that he had lost his wife. So I just felt so, my heart was just hurting because we didn't know. And so I reached out and shared our sympathy with him. And I want to share his response. I mean, they were attached at the hip. These are people like Glenn and I, like the Mountain Man and I, you know, we coexist. We are, you know, are attached at the hip. We thrive together. We are together 24/7 and still love one another. You know what I'm saying? So there's just that strong connection and very like-minded, love doing the same things. They're much like us. And this was his response to me. And, you know, to me, I've written this down. I've saved it in my Evernote. These were just such powerful words from a godly man. You know, and when you lose somebody, you know, it hurts. It really hurts. It's deep. And you certainly miss the person. But this is profound. He says, thank you for your sympathy. God is in control. He never makes a mistake. We must be happy with his decision. The God that hangs the stars in place can take care of me. And it just made me cry. You know, those are powerful, powerful words. And I share those with you today for those of you that may have lost loved ones or you're struggling. You know, those are powerful words to really resonate and meditate on. God is in control and God will take care of you. And, you know, I have no doubt in that. I have great faith in that. And I just wanted to remind you guys of that. So, don't lose sight of that, regardless what it is you're walking out. Whether it is a death in the family, whether it is a death with someone close to you, whether it's just a natural disaster happening around you. God is present, so don't forget that, okay? And I want to share a little bit with you regarding homesteading and preparedness as well today. You know, Miss Shelley is a perfect example. All of us here, I know that we have been taking, you guys have been heeding my warnings, and many of you, you know, have been walking right alongside us for years, preparing and just always preparing forward, focusing forward, and just thinking of your tomorrow, even though you're living in your today. You hear me talking all the time about having backups and about having being prepared for anything. We had heavy winds here, and the mountain boy had to return from work prior to the mountain man returning from work. And I ran out to assess the lane because I could hear trees dropping all over behind me here. So I knew that there's trees coming down. You know, it's inevitable at times that there's going to be trees on our lane. If you've watched us for any length of time, you know that we focus very heavily on taking care of our equipment, taking care of our things, our home, you know, maintaining things, winter maintenance, winterizing things. Well, we were using the chainsaws to work on the Mountain Boy's structure over his camper, and we were running into some troubles with them. And the mountain man has been thrown into this job. It's very heavy duty. He does not have much chance for much of anything other than working, eating, sleeping, and doing it all over again. I don't know carbs. It's not my thing. I know how to eat bread, but I don't know how to wrench the carburetors. Okay, so it's not my thing, but I'm not opposed to learning it. I'll share something else I learned to do this week. But I couldn't get the chainsaws started, and there ended up being 7 trees down. So I was very proud of myself because I had the forethought to grab the axe just because I knew that the chainsaws were acting up. And I figured there were probably trees. As much as I was willing them to not be there, God used that as a very empowering opportunity for me, because I hacked through the first 2 trees with the axe and moved them off the road. Thankfully, they weren't super large, but it did challenge me, and it was good. It was a good challenge. It was a good workout. I've been working out every day, working my arms and my legs. And so I got my workout that day, double. So, and when I got to the next tree, and it was 1.5 feet round in diameter, and it split right in the center of the road, which meant I would have had to chop this side off and this side off. I turned for help and got the skidster. A friend of mine has a skidster and was kind enough to assist. But being prepared, having a sharp axe at all times. I mean, I've got to go out and do firewood later to fill the bathhouse back up and to chop up some fat wood, just restock everything. So knowing how to use an axe, having an axe, but also having a sharp axe is the key thing, because it wouldn't have done me any good if it was dull. So, you know, being prepared is a lot of levels. There's a lot of levels to it. Having the right tools is also important. You guys hear me talking about all this stuff all the time. I like showing you examples of those things in use. The other thing that happened is the fridge tank, the one that the moose knocked over months ago, finally emptied, and I needed to refill it. So went and refilled it, hooked everything back up, couldn't get the fridge started. I knew I was getting gas to the fridge, and I figured it was the igniter that was acting up. So did all of my possible scenarios to try to get it running without having to move everything in my house this way. I had to move the couch, I had to move the chair, I had to move the fridge, I had to get behind the fridge, and I had to clean the igniter for the propane fridge. So, you know, wire brush on hand, wrenches on hand, you know, having the right tools. And the key thing is also knowing how to use them. And I've gotten back in the practice of carrying my Gerber as well as my hunting knife, just because as of late, I've needed to use them on a pretty regular basis. And it just was a good reminder for me. You know, I always have a lighter in my pocket. I always have my pocket knife. That's a given. I have a paracord bracelet attached to my belt loop. But having these additional things is just wise. You know, when you're out trying to accomplish something and you're trying to repair things and you're trying to keep your homestead or your home running, it is important that you have the right tools and that you know how to use them. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to put that out there. So let me see here. We've got lots of communication going on here. I'm just trying to catch up. Sorry. Carol says, as for the COVID family, so far daughter Mariko had it knocked her for 6, but she's getting there. Her eldest daughter, Ellie, 15, she was flat for 2 days, but okay. And then Chelsea, the next granddaughter, 13, she's okay. Awesome. Yeah, so that was one of my other prayer requests. And I'm sorry, Carol, I zoned on that. And also pray for Carol. She lost a dear friend last weekend. And those were posted in the community. I want to remind you guys, you know, you can always, always, always post your prayer requests here in the live or in the comments following this live video. You know, please don't ever hesitate. And if your prayers are something you feel are unspoken and the details don't need to be revealed, just say you need unspoken prayers. It is an honor to pray for you folks. And prayer requests are always put in the community. Feel free to ask and request in there if you're part of the community. That's really important, you know, so that we can lift you. Like I said, it's an honor and a privilege. So to be able to support you guys in prayer. I'm really glad to hear that, Carol. I've been praying for them greatly. It is no fun to get COVID. It affects everybody different. Some people get it and they, you know, barely are affected. Others that have already, you know, low immunity, varying other things, can really be affected in a harsh way. Please pray for my friend Robin too, who is suffering right now also. She was hit pretty hard as I was. Laura says, oh, Shelly, you have been on my heart lately. My prayers are with you. Yes. And Shelly, we will continue to pray. Don't get me wrong in saying that this is what you prepared for. You know, we will definitely be praying for you, but I know God has you. So, and we will be praying for all those around you, because I know as well as you do that not everybody is prepared. So we will be praying for your area and those in Washington too that are dealing with the flood. Carol says all 3 no jabs. Her husband John had his jabs, flat out in bed, not well with it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad they are doing well. How are you guys doing in the UK? I know UK, New Zealand, there's still a lot of stuff going on. Africa also. Just praying for all of you out there on the other side of the world, because I know things are escalated there so much more than they are here. So continued prayers there. Shelley says, the sad thing is the news is that Washington State was preparing for this same storm last week, but they never told us here to get ready. There are areas that got 200 millimeters of rain. I know there has been a lot of moisture this year. We have had a lot of rain, but nothing in comparison to what you guys are getting hit with. Miss Jane is in the house. Miss Jane is here. Good deal. Welcome, sweet friend. Shelly says, wow, she said that's equal to 7.87 inches of rain. So that really makes a big difference. And that was in how much of a time frame? A day, a week? I'm thinking a week, but that's a lot of rain. That's a lot of rain. Build your ark, sister. You already have. Carol says, wow, that's some rain. 3 days. Okay, so you're already ahead of me on that one. Good deal. Wow, that's a lot of rain. Carol says, now you have extra wood for building and firewood. Yeah, exactly. I just got to go fetch it. But, you know, and I want to share something too in that regard, and that is having a protocol. Yes, Austin is a man, and he should have been out there helping me, but I want to share something with you. The concern was this: our lane is over a mile long, and there's tall timber the whole way up the lane. He drives a small car, he has a Subaru, so not knowing what was ahead of him, and me not knowing what was on my way to him, the protocol I put in place was this: if I am not out there at the gate when you come, back up and get yourself in a place where there's no trees surrounding you, because he'd be a sitting duck. The winds were still happening. It was dangerous. So having protocols in place, whether it's for high winds, whether it's fires, whether it's evacuations, whatever it is, having that plan in place ahead of time and knowing how you will handle it is really important. I didn't want him driving in and then getting stuck with no way of cutting his way through and just sitting there and backing up in the dark and in the high winds. It's just not good. So I was very confident with that protocol because I knew that we'd be safe. I knew that he wasn't going to be sitting somewhere, because it was likely I had to cut our way out, and we did. 7 trees. So, you know, just thinking ahead always and being prepared is so extremely important. Mr. Keith is in the house. Guys, you got to join our community just to read Keith's posts. Keith posts. And Jane, I commented on your comment last night. Jane said that Keith should be writing adventure stories because the man is very knowledgeable, and there's a lot to take away from his knowledge posts, but he ends them with humor, which is good for the soul and good for healing and health. And it's usually a really good gut laugh. And then when he shares his stories, you know, you can sit down with your cup of coffee or tea and follow along and envision the entire thing because he's very descriptive. So, Keith, I thank you for that, because we're all of us are looking for your posts, just because there's lots of goodness in them, regardless of what kind you're sharing. Ooh. Jane said, is there anything we can do to help Mill? Okay, share with me, because I'm unaware of anything that happened with Mill. So please share that with me. Oh, Millie. Are you meaning Millie? At this time, I'm not sure, but I was wondering if there are any fundraisers running or anything that's going on. Right now, the Mountain Man built their house, and I have to say, with the 60-mile-an-hour winds, this thing was shuddering, but it wasn't going anywhere. And Millie's house was sound, so they didn't have any damage there on their property specifically, other than just the loss of their friend, which is just, you know, lots of prayers. But their community is definitely rattled. So I will inquire with her to see if there's anything that we can do, because I think that that's a very valid question. The same with Dory that Kelly shared about. That's that couple in Montana that's having problems getting under roof for winter, that their structure keeps getting blown over, which is just terrible, absolutely terrible. So thank you for asking. I will inquire about that. And while we're talking about Millie, if you are not familiar with Millie Copper, you can find her books by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Millie, MILLIE, Copper, COPPER. Check her out. Her books are amazing. And when we talk about preparedness, her books, if you are not preparedness minded, her books will lead and guide, because they cover everything, and they're really thought-provoking, not to mention really hard to put down. So thank you for asking that, Miss Jane, and I will check and I will post that in the community. All right, Miss Shelley says, the new client that I have, I need to wear PPE for the entire shift as she was exposed to COVID before she left the hospital. Yeah, it's still running rampant. So protect yourselves. There are links down below for all the supplements that I used that really helped me and worked well. Oh, and next week I'm going to share a supplement with you guys. I wanted to share it today, and dang, I forgot. Kelp, sea kelp. Keith suggested using sea kelp tablets for the hair loss. I'm telling you guys, my hair, there is like, I mean, yes, it's long, but there's like nothing left, but I'm grateful. I've still got hair, and it's slowed down. The hair loss has slowed down since I've started using the sea kelp, and I have been using collagen, and guys, I'm telling you, collagen is just amazing stuff. These nails, I've never had nails so hard. I've been using collagen heavily for the last 2 years, every morning with my cup of coffee, but I can't recommend it enough right now if you're experiencing hair loss as a result of COVID. So definitely check the links out below. Keep yourself healthy. Keep yourselves hydrated. And just know that God is bigger than everything that we're experiencing right now. So let me see here. Keith says, hi, Carol and Jane. All good here. Just trying to get the bees to pollinate some young avocado trees. Nice. My avocado tree is still growing nicely. The one that I sprouted from the seed. I hope it continues to grow. Keith, I have a question for you. In your humble opinion, what is the best way to winterize bees and give them the additional insulation around the hives? I have always used straw bales, but I don't like the fact that they get so moldy, and I can't imagine that's good for the bees. So I was just curious, because you are the bee guy. I wanted to know your thoughts. Jane says, recovering from last week's eye surgery, however, waiting for call as right eye is infected. Not good as it sets off MS. Oh, girl, that's terrible. I've been praying for you. And with the eye infection, have you tried using lavender oil across the bridge of your nose and up across here? That really helps a lot with eye infections. I don't know if it'll help you in this situation or not, but praying for you, because I know what that means. So, and we will continue to pray. Laura says, my sister just called. I will have to listen to the replay to see what I missed. All right, sister, we love you. And she still said, Jane, prayers for your recovery and calming of your MS symptoms. Awesome. Laura says, everything is good. Thanks, Carol. Oh, okay, you guys are chit-chatting. All right, awesome. Carol says, can you use foam board around the outside and under the hive? I'm just guessing. Probably so. And, you know, I want to put this out there, too, as a preparedness thought. Anytime you get any packaging that has the real thin, soft foam, I'll give you an example. When we got solar panels, the solar panels are covered with that foam just to protect them from scratching and stuff. And then when we got solar batteries, the batteries were surrounded by heavy duty, thick pieces of foam and styrofoam. Hang on to that stuff, because that stuff makes incredible insulation. So we have collected enough of that kind of stuff that we are actually going to use that to insulate the bathhouse. So just keep that in mind. And yes, Carol, that is a fabulous way to do things as well. Just because we get the high winds this time of year and stuff, that wasn't one of our first thoughts, but it is definitely a way of doing things. Very good thought. Also, how is your house coming along as far as your dryness and things drying out? I hope things are doing better there. So also be sure to check down below. There are lots of links down below for the collagen, Millie's books, all kinds of different links for the supplements that I was mentioning. And that reminds me, I wanted to, I don't know if you can see it behind me there, but my Berkey is up and running. Because of the timing and getting our well in, I wanted to make sure I was able to filter our water till we are able to get it tested. That hasn't happened yet, but it is coming. But Berkey has a tremendous sale going on right now. So you can go to trayerwilderness.com/Berkey and you will see all their sales specials going on right now. I also wanted to let you know that we purchased extra filters because the Mountain Man is going to do a DIY on making a larger scale homemade, handcrafted Berkey filter or of the like. So we have the one in the house, the small one. I mean, that's the small one and it takes up a lot of space. I don't know if you can see that, but it is large, even though it's the smallest one. It's only a 1.5 gallon unit, but I've been noticing weirdness with my teeth since COVID, and I didn't know if it was a result of our water that we are drinking or not, so I wanted to kind of test that out. So I did invest, and as you hear me say often, there are certain things that I will invest in. You know, we are frugal. My sun oven was one of those things. It's just, that thing has, oh my goodness, I've like tripled my money's worth out of that thing, even more so. I've had that for so many years. It's an amazing item. It's a little spendy, so are the Berkey filters, but I'll tell you what, in any situation, we are good to go. So check that out. It's trayerwilderness.com/Berkey, BERKEY. Mountain Man just shot me a message. See if he can join us. Okay, we'll see if he pops on. All right. Okay, so yeah, making sure that you have the right tools. That's another perfect example of that. And being able to make your own things is also extremely important. So that we can filter larger quantities of water in our mind, you know, because we are able. Making our own unit is more cost effective. But I did want one for in the house that didn't take up a lot of space. Let me see here. Carol says if you use foam board, then put a wooden stake each side and the back to stop it from moving. Yeah, exactly. And that would be very doable because that's all clay over there. And very good suggestion, sweet friend. I have been strapping everything down lately with the winds. Our solar was out there and just it's strapped down and tied down. But I mean, it was just shaking and moving. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. And with this, you know, with the trees being cut down so much out here with the logging industry, it really, and then again, you know, Millie is experiencing the same thing there. They don't have the trees we do. So that wind is just pummeling. But yes, that is a perfect suggestion. I knew which steak you meant, but when I saw the first time, when I saw the steak written in there, I thought you were like going to start working on the taste buds because I haven't eaten anything yet. I fasted this morning. Okay, I have a funny, and I know with this crowd it's going to be good. I was hoping Jane would be here, and I was hoping Keith would be here for this conversation. Okay, so have you ever considered the fact that you were born for a time such as this? It's hard to imagine that, right? And we all have different personalities, different perspectives, different views. And when I hear that term and when I think of that term, I mean, if you guys have been following me for any period of time, I get empowered very easily. Like James 1, 2 through 4 are like my power. That's like my empowerment. If you aren't familiar with that, look that one up. But when I hear that term, I cannot help but think, and I don't know that this was ever my favorite movie, but it was one of the ones that resonated the most with me, especially growing up, because growing up, I had to be in a place of protecting myself, both at home and away from home. I had to be tough. And I'm glad I was. It instilled a lot in me. But when I think of that term, I can't help but think of the Terminator and Linda Hamilton in that movie, and you know how she had to really toughen up, fight, you know, and then the way they end the movie with her in that movie. That's me. That's my visual when I think of this. However, same with my music. My movies are very broad. You know, so you've got romance movies, you've got comedy movies, you've got sci-fi movies, you've got superhero movies. So I would love for you to put in the comments on the live and the replay, when you hear the term, you were made for a time such as this, what comes to mind for you? Are you the superhero that's putting on your cape and saving the world? Are you the romantic and the one that's sharing the love and trying to help people through just sharing the love? Are you the comedian? Keith, I picture you in all categories, but just very funny. I'd love your feedback. I mean, and then sci-fi, you know, that one kind of scares me a little bit because who knows what we're stepping into. You've got... I can't think of it now. Tomorrow, was that the one with the aliens? I can't think of the name of the movie now. But anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. So, you know, the aliens right now are our evil government that's not running things very well. But we're not going to go there either. But share with me. So, the new age does not have to spread out, Keith said. Okay, I'm not... expand on that one for me. Jane says, I am Vladimir the warrior, well in my past life. All right. Yep. See, you're worried. See, that's my, like, when I hear those terms, I'm warrioring up. I'm putting on my armor. I'm ready for the fight, but I will also love on others. I will also, find humor in the craziness. All right. Well, the mountain man said he's driving, so he will talk to us later, and said to say hello. So unfortunately, he's not joining us today. Carol says if you went out in some of her outfits, Mountain Man would bust a gut, lol, and you'd be colder than a woodpecker slips. Ah, Carol, you cracked me up. That was good. Yes, you're right. You're right. Laura says this is the third time today I've heard you were born as a time such as this. God's confirmations are awesome, are they not? And that's the other thing, guys. We have God's word, not just our movies. The movie thing popped in my head, and I just found great humor in that. I thought of Keith and Jane this morning, but I want to hear the feedback on this, because we all have different personalities. Some people are very meek and mild. And yes, Jane and Laura, I really felt like God was hitting it home this morning. Oh, I just saw Jane's comment. All right. Anyway, I really felt like God was pointing that out to me today. We could look at this and our world and just be in total devastation. That's not my nature. That's what I've been talking completely against. If you've followed my live Monday inspirations on Instagram that I've started, it's exactly what I'm saying. We do not need to live out of a place of fear. We can't be living out of a place of fear. That's what the enemy wants. And that is not a place to be. There is so much devastation mentally in a place like that. And I want to have that visual pop up every time I hear those words, that I was born for a time like this. I want to make a difference. I want to be a help to our world. And I want you guys to be able to do that too. Whether it is using your humor, whether it is using your ability to love on people, whether it is your ability to fight aliens or put on your cape, whatever it is, we each and every one of us has a superpower that God blessed us with for a time just like this. So I always pray when I come on here and before I come on here that God uses my words for the good and that he touches lives through what I have to say. And I hope that some of this stuff empowers you, not just preparing and knowing how to prepare. And, so often I've been asked, what are you preparing for? Time, just like this. But you know what? I said that 10 years ago, 12 years ago. You just don't know. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You don't know what today, even later today, is going to be like. But when you are prepared mentally to live out of a place of abundant positivity, and that doesn't mean that I'm ignorant and obnoxious to what's going on in our world. It's just that I am choosing to be bigger than it and to not be affected by it in the way the average person is. I can watch the news. I want to share this with you too. This is pretty cool. Okay, so you guys have heard me sharing that through watching the things that are happening, seeing some of the crazy stupidity, all those things were traveling all at one time through my mind. All the nonsense that's going on in our world. I was really finding myself in a place of anger. Now, you know me well enough to know, and you've heard me say it, that any of the negative thoughts we have are the enemy. The enemy can't get me through my past. It's not a concern to me anymore. I'm living in the present. He can't get me through my family, because as soon as anything negative happens here, we know where it's coming from and we disengage. So he was getting me through my emotions, and I was in tune with it. I'm very, very in tune. Bible study, we've been talking about that pretty regularly, just how the enemy is shifting and his antics. And when he can't get you one way, how he will make attempts to get you another. Well, through that, I have progressed because I would not let him engage me. I would not let him take me to a place that I stayed in a place of anger, because under normal circumstances, it takes so much to get me to a place of anger. And normally, I will process, I will feel my anger, I will experience my anger, and 5 minutes later, I'm gone. I'm not in that place anymore. And that's by choice. I don't want to be there. So when this anger was spurring, it was deep anger, and it was just anger out of frustration, I think, but it was also just the enemy trying. Well, now when I am watching this stuff, I don't get angry. I find, sadly enough, I find humor in it, because it is sad to see what is happening. And it's not so much in the things that are happening, it's in the ludicrousy of the people and what they're doing that I find humor in it. And just that, this world has come to such a place. Humor's good. Emotions are good. Feel them, live them, experience them, but don't stay in them. Pay attention to what's going on. When you're feeling these, different things happening in your life that aren't normal to you, analyze it a little bit. I have always been like, I like the, what do you call it? The, CSI and stuff like that, where you're investigative researching, me, I like delving into books, neuroplasticity, researching, learning the body. Well, the same is true in this situation. Analyze what's happening. Don't overanalyze it, but just be aware of it and see where it's coming from. And understand that we have such tremendous power over our lives, our circumstances, and the things that are happening around us, to us, and through us. So I would much rather be made for a time like this, to empower people and love on people and to make people laugh, rather than to be that negative Nelly that's going to just drag the world down around me. That's certainly not my nature, never has been. But anytime we hit that place where something is negatively affecting us, we need to realize why and shift it. So, and that really pertains to our times right now. It pertains to everything we do. I mean, that's just that whole thought process can be children, marriage, business, life, finances, all of that is encompassed in all of that, but I like living it out in everything I do. And I want to be empowered by these times, not the chaos of the times, but how we can, through these times, make that difference. So let me go back to the, that's what I saw. Jane said, but does a woodpecker have lips? I know, that was my first thought too, but that's what made it so funny. Miss Carol, the stuff you come up with. Carol says, don't spoil it, Jane. I was trying. Well, oh, you tried. That was powerful. I loved it. I have to actually, I want to do a screenshot of that. That's a good one. The mountain man will appreciate that. All right. So Laura says, absolutely, Jane. It will soon be our time to stand. I heard that twice today. It is our time to stand. I've been saying for so long, we cannot be complacent. We cannot comply. We cannot weaken just because of pressure. We need to be here for what we were made to be here for. We need to use our superpowers, and our superpowers that God gave us are not negative superpowers. They are powerful, powerful places to be. He wouldn't have given us those talents if they were just supposed to be put in a pocket. You know what I'm saying? Keith says, the new age guys, okay, polyester hives, but the trick is to keep the ball of bees centered to maintain the heat so they don't freeze. We'll keep explain on the community site. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I appreciate you doing that, Keith. And yeah, that, my bees are doing well. I just always get concerned because our temperatures this year have been really deceiving. And I have had a bunch of dead bees as a result of the temperatures just dropping so drastically. And first they're 60 degrees and then they're 18, I mean, that's what we've had in the last 3 days. It's insane. Miss Toika is in the house. Sister, we are praying for you as well. Miss Toika has 4 broken ribs right now. God love her. She's got 2 on either side. So please pray for her. Like I said, we have lots of prayers in the house today. So lift each other, love on each other. So Laura says, remember it is God's war in the end. Our fight may be to sing praises or raise up as prayer warriors. Practice putting on the armor of God. Amen, sister. And that's well put. That's exactly it. And, I wanted to mention, and I did start to mention, our Bible has many stories of these superheroes. There's so many. It's like my mind's like jumbling them all together. But I mean, seriously though, Joseph was in the famine, but he was sold by his brothers and almost murdered, left to die by his brothers. Was jailed incorrectly, unnecessarily, false accusations, sat in jail for years. But you know what? One of his things was that he never, ever was in a negative state of woe is me, why me. He used his circumstances. He's one of the biggest ones that stands out to me, and he saved so many people from the famine because he never lost sight of God through the chaos, through the hurts, through the false accusations, for the mistreatment. He was empowered in a way to serve God. And it's like he said at the end of things to his family, what you chose to do to me for bad, God turned into good. That was very, those were my words. Certainly not God's, or his. But you know what I'm saying. What you tried to use against me turned out for the good of God and the people. So the same applies today. Read his word, be empowered by his word. Like I said, James 1:2-4 are like my meditation words to just a total empowerment to know that God has such great purpose in all of us. And we just need to persevere. But again, we all have different personalities. So those words aren't going to be what's resonating for you. Read the Bible because he'll give you words that resonate for you, and they will empower you on your journey and with your superpower and your walk. And that's just it. Laura mentioned about singing praises and rising up as prayer warriors. That is one of the most tremendous things we can do. I do that all week long, all throughout the day. I have praise music on all the time and different music on. I am constantly praying and not being afraid to ask for prayer. So often I hear people say, I hate to ask for prayer. There's so many other people that are worse off than me. They might be, but you have needs too, and your prayers are just as important. And we need to take all of our worries, all of our struggles, and all of our praises to God. We need to praise him in the good, the bad, and the ugly. I always wish the mountain man was here when I say that. And there were wars won just because they stopped and sang. It deafened and it confused their enemies. There is great, great strength in God's word and in our trust and faith in God and our willingness to praise him through all circumstances and to trust in him through all circumstances. There is so much there. All right, we got Miss Mill in the house. Miss Mill says, hi guys, having a bad day. Glad you're all here. Cheers me up, right up. Awesome. I am glad to hear that, but why are you having a bad day? And I saw you post, I tried to chop my thumb off. What were you doing, sister? Oh my gosh. That's not good. You need your phalanges. They all need to be intact. No need to practice stitching. So do tell. Shelly says, hi, Mill. Glad you're here, and we will try to cheer you up. Yep, we have you, Shelly says. Exactly. Jane says, Toika, hi, Mill. Sorry to hear that how can we help? Yes. Exactly. So everybody's saying hi to Mill. Shelly says, I know what you mean about getting cheered up here. I've really missed these as I've been busy every Wednesday lately, and I've missed this. I put everything on hold to be here today. You're so awesome. And I'm so glad that that is what you guys get out of this, that you come here and you leave refreshed, because I feel the same way. You know, I'm orchestrating this, but communicating with you guys, loving on you guys, communicating and just spending this time, this fellowship is just so renewing. So I'm glad that you guys are getting the same out of it. And you know where I give the glory. Thank you, Jesus. That was me. Sit down. It's okay. You don't need to keep barking. No, lay down. Lay down. Thank you. That was good. But lay down. It was me. Sorry. All right. Anyway. Shelly says, I turned down some work hours today to be here. I was able to sleep in, which was really needed. Awesome. Well, thank you, sweet friend. And I love you. And I'm glad that this is empowering for you. I know that, you know, your circumstances there are worrisome. So, you know, I am glad you are here, and I hope that you get renewed and lifted. And I know everyone here is going to lift you for sure, and carry you as well. So, Jane, that's awesome. She says, Shelly, me too. Glad we're all together. I know I miss you guys when you aren't here. And it's fun because we have this group and such an eclectic mix, and all of you add so much to the table. I can be certain when I say certain things that certain ones of you will chime in with something that's just going to expand beyond my abilities. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Shelly says, don't do that, Mill. You need that digit. Exactly. Exactly. It's still a phalange, even though it's the thumb. Mill says, my poor little kitten, Miss Stitch, got ate by an owl, fox, or coyote. It's just as well she was sickly. Yeah, you had asked for prayers for her, and I was wanting to ask you about that. Sorry to hear that. Jane says, Mill, oh no, did you get it reattached? You didn't cut it all the way off, did you? You just tried to. That's not good. Mill says, Miss Shelley, you're so awesome. Giving up for us is so generous, sister. I thank you. Yes. Jane says, had an inmate chop a finger off in the meat slicer once. Never found out if they served the ham salad that day for lunch or not. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the steak that Carol mentioned, the ham salad just voided. I'll stick to my fasting. That's just not good. That's not good. Mill says, I'm praying for all of you. So much going on with everyone. I know, right? It's really crazy. Tammy Richards and I were talking, you know, it's just so much stuff is going on. And I don't know about you guys, but locally it is just, it's a weird feeling, kind of a weighty feeling. You know, I totally believe and know that God is in control. However, our flesh is there. We are human, and there has been a lot of loss here, not just COVID loss, but just loss. And, you know, I avoid drama, I avoid conflict, and I avoid gossip. So I'm usually one of the last to know things are going on locally around me to certain levels. And just knowing that, you know, there are people that have passed and things that have happened, it's just a weighty feeling. You know, it's like, and it just seems so global. You know, there's so much going on everywhere. And, you know, you can't blame everything on the enemy. I mean, he's working, he's prowling. Here's an empowering thought I want to give you guys. I want you to view the enemy as the snake that he is. You know, that's how he started out in the Garden of Eden. He was the snake. Excuse me. I like envisioning that empowering roar of God, you know, so that the lion is the empowerment of God, and the snake is the enemy. Sometimes you hear people saying that the enemy is roaring like a lion or prowling, and I don't like to give him that, because he's the snake that I can step on. So I don't know where that came from, but that was the thought I had yesterday, and I guess it needed to be shared. Mill says Jane is called duct tape, lol. A universal tool. Yes, exactly. Electrical tape comes in handy sometimes too when you're out and you're oh yuck. Right, Mel? Yes. Toika says to Mel, so sorry about Miss Ditch. Yes, that is terrible. Key says, hiya, Mel. Those wily coyote watching you won't be able to tell you to pull your finger out now. Yeah, you need that thumb, Mel. Was it your thumb that you cut? Shelly says, not so much giving up anything when I get to spend time with you all. The money is nothing if I do not get renewal, refreshed, and refocused through our time together. Very true. And you know, money is important, but it's not everything. And we've got to remember that. And self-care, regardless if it's joining us live or whether it's taking a nap or taking a soak or getting a massage, you know, renewal for each of us comes differently. And Shelly, I praise you for seeing the need and doing that. And I'm honored and humbled that it is here that you find that. And like I said, I give God the glory on that. I really don't feel like much of the time it's my words as much as it is God's, even though I fumble them out at times or create new vocabulary words. So it's awesome. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing that. Toika says, Mill, did you just say you duct taped your digit on? Probably. She's a tough cracker. I love it. Okay, so she says, Mill says, I was cutting tags off and I knew I was cutting in the wrong direction, but because I get impatient, I cut anyway and cut a small piece off my thumb. Hurts so bad. Oh, I guess too. Those are some dang sharp scissors, sister. Or were you using a knife? Ouch. The scissors. Ouch. Either way. Yeah, duct tape works. Electrical tape works good. It stops the bleeding. And bleeding is good. It gets out the germs. Oh my goodness. All right. So Jane says, I think we're spending more time within ourselves and listening to others more than maybe a year or two ago. Maybe we were hard of hearing and God is cleaning the wax out to make us more aware of. Yeah. You know, I see so many more people pulling in. I see more people being empowered by God. I see more people diving deeper. And, you know, that makes my heart sing because I know that's where the power's at. You know, I shared with you guys before and I shared it on Instagram this week. 12 years ago, I wanted to know how to have that relationship with God where I could hear that still small voice, that I could be certain that the wisdom I was getting was from him and not mine, you know? And now that I know how to get that, I'll be darned if I'm sitting on it. You know, you guys need to know that the deeper you go with Jesus, the more amazing every aspect of life becomes. And that relationship gets so deep that you will hear that still small voice. You will feel his presence. You will see his miracles. You will be able to praise him when you are walking out tough stuff. And that is what it's all about. And Jane, that's just so awesome that you say that because I see it too. And I think it's true. And I think that, you know, the pandemic might have been put out there for evil, but look at the good that's coming from it. People are opening their eyes and realizing what's important. They are focusing more on what's important. They are taking better care of themselves. And also, you know, in ways we're learning to stand strong, stand united, and fight for our freedoms. The other part of today's topic was, you know, what happens when you get squeezed? I want to focus on that. I want to know what's going to happen to me when I get squeezed. I want to know that what comes out is godly. I want to know that what comes out is empowering and powerful and is going to help someone else, not break somebody else. Because we're going to get squeezed. We are getting squeezed and we're going to get squeezed more. And we need to be aware of that. So we need to put the two together. You were made for a time like this. And you need to know what's going to happen when you get squeezed. And you need to put those two together and be sure that when you are squeezed, it is God coming out. because that's part of our superpower. That's part of why we were made for a time like this. So that when we are squeezed, we don't start screaming superlatives. We start sharing the love, you know. And I mean, it is possible, you know, when you're in those places. Look at Joseph. Anyway, whew, that was a good one. And thank you, Miss Jane. I'm going to screenshot those words because that is so true and that's so powerful right now. And it's so good to see people understanding that and listening to that, and also not being afraid to be who they are. So often before, we were hidden behind keyboards, and we were hidden behind screens, and we were hidden behind our pride and things. And now we are standing strong for him. We are listening to him, and we are listening to things that empower us spiritually. And I want to encourage you guys to do things that are building you physically too. You know, I was so proud of myself to be able to do what I had to do. And I wonder, this is awesome because this came to me earlier and I would have forgotten had I not said that. God added this super to my natural. I started out doing what I know how to do, but God added the super that I was able to plow through 2 trees in no time, to get them out of the way and keep going. You know, we need to focus on our physical abilities too, not just for our health reasons. You know, if we are in good physical shape, if we are pushed, we will be able to maintain and handle those things. If we are not in a good physical place and all of a sudden you need to use your core muscles to do something and you don't have any, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to pull something. You're going to be in a worse off position. I just want to encourage you guys to put it all together. Physical, spiritual, mental, put it all together. And it all starts with God because, you know, in order to be physically fit, we need to be fit up here too. And we need to realize that we have the abilities to do all these things if we focus on them and the benefits we are going to get from them. We need to empower ourselves. We need to continuously try every day to be 1% better than we were the day before. You guys see me doing that. You have seen me doing that and will see me doing that for these last 7, 12 years. You will continue to see me doing that moving forward. I want to be better than I was the day before. I want to keep growing. And you know what, guys? I was looking back at pictures today, pulling some of our hunting photos for a post I want to put out. And I was journeying through my healing journey. And, you know, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my hair. Yeah, well, you know, I'll wear a hat. But I look back at, wow, I saw some photos of my face where it was flaring and it looked like, it was like beet red. I mean, I flare now and it gets a little pink. I mean, guys, it was heavy duty, and I forgot how far I've come. I saw photos of how my entire face was swelled up. Now when I swell, I get a little bit around my eyes. I mean, we're talking like entire face was swelled up. And I, you know, we forget where we come from. We forget how we progress to get where we are. Many of you are in the same position I am in, and you've progressed. Give yourself credit for how far you've come and use that as your trampoline to keep going further. Keep improving ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and just keep growing. We were made for a time like this. We are here on purpose. I wasn't taken 7 years ago for a reason. You guys may have other examples of situations where you weren't taken also. The mountain man has 27 lives, you know. He's here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. We're still here. And we've got to keep fighting forward, using his word, being empowered by his word, and sharing his word. When we are squeezed, let him come out, guys. Okay, you guys, I have to catch up here. Mill says, Toika girl, how goes your ribs, sister? I seen you posted something about a bone condition, but the doctor says it isn't related to the rib thing. Just wondering if I read the post right. Yeah, I know. I saw that too. And are they concerned there, Toika, about weak bones. And I have to look up, can you give us like a real quick description of the medical term that you shared? Because I didn't get a chance. I am a researcher. I always want to know that kind of stuff, and I haven't gotten a chance to look. So if you could share that, that would be awesome. A claw knife. Sister, that's just not cool. That's not cool. I was doing a leather, well, actually it wasn't a leather project. It was a silk screening project in school. And when I was in high school, middle school, and I don't know if you've ever done that, but it uses a knife that's like scooped. And I had my finger in the way when I was doing that and took a big sliver off the side of one of my fingers. That's what I'm picturing, Mill. That's not good. That's not good. Take some arnica. And also, it's not comfrey, it's burdock. Burdock is really good for skin healing. Ouch. Okay, so I'm here, Toika. I have Lorenzo, so I'm running around doing his dinner and stuff. So everybody say hello to Lorenzo. Mr. Lorenzo is so darn cute. I wish we were Zooming so I could see his little cheeks. Laura says, lol, Jane, my Q-tips have been covered in lots of wax lately. Lol. Mill says, Toika, I was joking. All right. Oh, thank you, Miss Shelley. She says, remember to hit the like button. Yes, guys, please. That's a huge help to us to continue to reach the masses with our message. Hit the like button, share these if they are resonating with you or you know other people will benefit from them. Be sure to subscribe. All of those things helps us grow, get more visible on YouTube and on the platforms, and helps us reach more people. If you aren't part of our community, please join our community, TrayerWilderness.com/community. Guys, we've had a lot of new people joining us on these lives here on YouTube, also on Instagram, and in our community. You guys, you know, our community is not just the mountain man and I and the mountain boy. It's you guys. You guys are resonating to people. You guys are reaching people. You guys are inspiring people too. So I thank you for that. Also, we have a kids corner every Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. TrayerWilderness.com/kids corner. Your kids can sign up. It's safe. They Zoom with me. We have an awesome time. Started out reading a book that is a kids like preparedness type book, Lost on Hope Island. We are going to start reading book 3 very soon as the author publishes it. We also talk a lot about preparedness, talk about teaching them how to do seed saving and making paracord bracelets, all kinds of stuff. Cooking from scratch was last week. So get your kids joining us. It's been a really good time getting to know them. I have such a good time on Fridays with them. We also have Bible study every Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, TrayerWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club. We will be starting our new book on December 2nd. It is Chase the Lion by Mark Batterson. You can find that by going to TrayerWilderness.com/Chase the Lion. Awesome, empowering book. We are finishing up this week with Fueled by Fire by Stacey Wallace, another fabulous book, one I think you should add to your list. TrayerWilderness.com/Fueled by Fire. All right, let me see here. Thank you, Miss Shelley, for that. I love you. Jane says, Laura, lol, me too, but the hearing is coming back. That's good. So maybe I need to start using Q-tips more because, man, I think I'm going deaf and bald all at the same time, and blind. That's when all your other superpowers kick in, right? Mel says, you guys, sometimes I get irritated about life. Okay, that one got broken up. Oh, life and need perspective from God's loving people so I get the proper message. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you know what? That's why we're all here together. You know, as a cord of 3 or more, we are getting stronger and stronger, and that's what we do for one another. We support one another. We inspire one another. We love on one another. We're honest with one another. You know, sometimes it's the honesty and brutal honesty that we share with one another too that helps us. You know, that's what I love about our community. You know, we are truly there for one another. Total support. Total support. friends till the end, and the end is unending, right? Because we are going to go to heaven. So it's awesome. Awesome thought. Shelley says, I am making all my gifts again this year. I do not want to go out shopping in any crowd. And this has nothing to do with COVID. I hate crowds. I'm right there with you, sister. I'm right there with you. Yes. And I have been working on a couple things too. I have great intentions with that stuff, and I got to get better with that because my time to make things is this time of year, and then I don't have a whole lot of time to pull it off before Christmas. So I need to start planning ahead for next year, this year. So I need to do that. All right. Toyka says, I go for a bone scan today. Yesterday, doctor said osteopenia wouldn't have broken my ribs. Now curious. I am special ed. Hush up, sister. You do need a bubble right now. We're going to put you in a bubble. But, oh my goodness. But remember, everything happens for a reason. You know, there were things that happened to me, and I was grateful they happened because they brought other things forward. So, you know, you'll find out what you need to know, and you'll progress from there. And hopefully, through our prayers, you are dealing with less pain. Broken ribs are the worst. And it is hard. I am right there with you. When things start to happen one after the other, it does put you in a weird mental headspace. So allow us to pray you up in that regard. I get where you're at times. So you're not special ed. You're there for a purpose, and you're going to shine right where you're at, okay? Laura says, I found some cut-resistant gloves on Amazon for butchering projects. I think we should get some for Mill. I agree. And I've seen them too. They are quite sweet, and I think we could all use them, especially when butchering or cutting tags. Mill, you need a pair of the cut-resistant gloves. Mill says, Toyka, you're an amazing spirit. I love you, sister. Yep, exactly. You all are amazing spirits. You all have so much to bring to the table. Shelley says, you are special, Toyka. You are part of the Trayer Wilderness Love Thy Neighbor group. Exactly. That's it. I like that, Shelley. Another screen save for today. You guys are creating bumper stickers. I love it. Toyka says, Laura, yes. Mill says, Laura, I should super glue those gloves to my hands full time. If you've seen my hands and arms, they are full of scars, scratches, and cuts, more so even now, lol. I'm sure. I know. I'm known for that kind of crazy stuff too. So you're not alone. You're not alone. And what's worse is, just like you, I've had that like premonition of, yeah, I'm going to cut my finger on this one. And sure enough, you do it anyway. So you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Jane says, Shelley, I hear you. I'm sewing a few things. Hot sauce for neighbors. Someone said bacon is $12 a pound. Say, what? Daughter is going to make from pork belly under my direction. Oh, bacon can't go that high. And Miss Jane, you make such amazing things. All of you, you guys, you know what? I want to give you a challenge today. All of you, to go to the community and share your wares. Each of you has really unique talents, and you make really awesome things. I've seen the things Shelley makes. I've seen the things Jane makes. I want to encourage you to go to our community and share what you're making right now, okay? Laura says, when you get squeezed, I imagine silly strings squirting out in Bible verses. That's funny. Like I said, you guys are making making bumper stickers today. That's funny. Yep, exactly, right? Oh my gosh. I wish I could remember them. You know, I get on here and I try to remember verses, and you guys see me every week. I create new vocabulary words and things come out backwards. But one of these days, you know, there are those special people out there that can just rattle off jokes from beginning to end and have no problem. I start and I ruin the punchline every time. It's just like remembering movie lines. That's the Mountain Man's one of his superpowers. He just remembers movie lines. Like he can watch it one time and he starts spewing. It's really funny. And I'd like to say that's a guy thing because a lot of you can do that, but I know some women out there that do it too. But that's just, I love that. I can't do that, but I love that you guys can. Shelly says, I am somewhat like you, Toika. The car accident I was in 2002, and because of it, my heart may have been repositioned, and that is why my ECG is not normal. Yeah, it's crazy, you know. It's kind of crazy when things happen like this because when it rains, it pours. And also the thing is too, that we are challenged by today's medical system, and there is a place for today's medical system, but it's just so sad to see how much it's failing at times through these last 2 years. And it's hard because you have to go through so many tests and pokes and prods and that to get answers today. And granted, you know, got to give it praise too that we are as advanced as we are, that we can get answers to these things. But it's just a lot of work, and it's draining. So we will be praying all of you up that are going through different things, because it is a struggle. Jane says, Tammy, research a chai machine. I'm getting one for lymphatic drainage, circulation, etc. Interesting. All right, we'll definitely look that up. Definitely look that up. Toika says, Mill, sounds like the gloves should go to your elbows. I love it. Now, you know what I just pictured is the, oh, what's the name of the movie? But there's so many of them out there. The Viking era, you know, they were putting on their armor and they're putting on their mesh to protect them. You know, that was just the picture I got. Mill, I just totally visualized you. Yep. Head to toe. Mesh armor. Okay, so Toika says osteopenia is a stage before osteoporosis, which is major bone density loss. Okay. All right. I wondered if it was similar, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. So thank you. Yes. Jane says, Laura, yes, the metal ones. My hubby wears Kevlar. Yep. It's wise. It's wise. It's very easy to do. You know, you just get haphazard or fast or whatever. You know, that's the other thing. Like, I see people gutting deer with these massive knives. It's like you don't need a big knife to gut a deer, or an elk for that matter. The knife that Glenn made, which is probably about that long, we've used to gut just about everything, you know, deer, elk, antelope, mule deer. I could go on. Moose. Let me see here. Mill says, I hate to, but I have to. Love, prayers, and blessings to you all. Love you, sweet lady. Have a good day. Keep all your phalanges connected, and I will see you, I hope, at Bible study tomorrow. Miss Carol says, right, I have to go, guys. His lordship is about to eat. We just made scrambled eggs and tomatoes and toast. Yum. Well, love, prayers, and hugs to everyone. Bye, guys. Love from me and Lorenzo. Love you, guys. Love you, Lorenzo. All right. I am going to read a couple things, and then I, too, will let you guys get going. We've been on for a while, but this was good. Toika says, Mill, to answer your question about my ribs, they hurt bad. Began taking homeopath bone knit last night. Good. I don't know if wild lettuce will help you either with that kind of pain. And that's a different pain rather than just inflammation. I was going to say turmeric, one of the golden drinks, would be good for you too, but I know that rib pain is different, and it's not necessarily inflammation, but it might help. But wild lettuce is good for pain. Toika says, Laura, fabulous visual, right? I know. Shelly says the same. Yes, Laura, that visual is going to stick with me now. Good. All right, let me pop on here and see if I can find the things I want to read to you real quick. Here we go. Yes. All right. Okay. So this was kind of interesting. May or may not go along with exactly what we're talking about here today. We're pretty broad, but I think this is a good and worth reading. A gentle answer quiets anger, but a harsh one stirs it up. That's Proverbs 15:1. And I figure since we're talking about being squeezed and God coming out, this is a good one to cover. When someone disagrees with you, be tender without surrender. You will never be able to please everyone. You will always meet people who like to argue and quarrel, especially today, and this is a good read. Some people will contradict everything you say. How should you respond to them? One of the tests of spiritual maturity is how you handle those who disagree with you. Some people have a need to demolish anyone who disagrees with them, which is our society today, so this is good information. If you challenge them or offer a comparison, complaint, or criticism, they respond with a full-blown personal attack. Then what do? You have three alternatives. One, you can retreat in fear. Many people choose this route because they haven't developed the ability to respond in gentleness. So if you're a peace at any price person, it will have hidden costs in your life's most important relationships. Two, you can react in anger. Anger is often a telltale sign that you feel insecure and threatened by someone's disapproval. It's a warning light that tells you you're about to lose something, often your self-esteem. When we become angry, often we become sarcastic and attack the other person's self-worth. Three, you can respond in gentleness. A gentle answer quiets anger, but a harsh one stirs it up. This is the kind of response that requires a fine balance between maintaining your right to an opinion, which we are entitled to, while equally respecting others' person's right to their opinion, which they are as well. It requires being tender without surrendering your convictions. Sometimes you must stand by your convictions, but other times you will find you're answering this question: is our relationship more important than the point I'm trying to prove? Which is also true. So this all pertains to the fact that the more we are mature in our spiritual walk, the more likely it is that when we are squeezed, God will come out. And I've surrendered long ago the need to be right and the need to win a conversation and the need to prove something, because there's, there's a lot of people in my life that regardless what I would have to say, they're going to be right, always right. So when you learn to disengage from that and just allow them to have that opinion and not be offended or affected by their opinion and their thoughts, and realize also where they're coming from. A lot of times these situations that I've experienced are people without faith, without God. They may have faith, but it's faith in things, not faith in God. And when you're lacking that, that's where you're lacking all of these skills. So I just want to encourage you to continue to mature in your walk with Jesus and to be empowered to use your superpowers for a time such as this. So I hope this all helps you guys in your day-to-day walk and in your daily walk. We can choose to see things as devastation and terrible and awful, or we can choose to see it as, wow, there's going to be a revival. There's going to be amazing things happening here. And that's the view I'm choosing to take, because part of that is that we can make those good things happen, especially in our immediate surroundings, those that we are in contact with the most. When you run into negative people, spin a little bit of your positive webs around them. We have a lot to offer, and we need to be willing to offer it and put it on the table. So don't be complacent. You don't have to comply when things get and you don't need to cave when things get uncomfortable. You need to stand on the word of God. You need to stand on what you know is right. And you need to do it in a godly way. Not always easier said, easier said than done sometimes. But the more of an effort and a conscious effort we make at doing those things, the more of a habit they become. And that's when your habit will flourish, because when you're squeezed, God will come out. So I'm going to say a prayer. We've got lots of prayers today. So, I mean, mind-boggling. And that's good that we have so many prayers, because there's good and bad mixed in there. But the beauty is that we know God is in control, and God is working, and God is going to answer our prayers. So I'm going to just do a global prayer so that I don't forget anybody. And if you have prayers, those of you that are watching, please leave them in the comments below. Join our community, leave them in the community. There are prayer requests and vulnerable posts being posted all the time lately in our community, and it's amazing to see. Jennifer put a post out yesterday that was just awesome. I just, my hat is off to her for her vulnerability and her deep share, and I encourage you guys, that's what this platform is for. There is no there's no censoring of any kind, but then again, our community is kid friendly, so there are great things being shared there. So come join us. All right, guys. Papa, I just thank you for your love, for your mercy, for your grace, for making us, each of us, for a time such as this. Thank you for giving us the superpowers you've gifted us with, for the abilities, for the strength, for the courage, for the ability to be a light and inspire others. Thank you for using us. Thank you for how you are going to use us. Empower us with this knowledge. Empower us with your word. Give us courage to be a child of God and not be afraid to be that. There is great strength in the power of God, in Christianity, in our walk, in loving Jesus. So many people think that because we are Christians, we're weak. We're not weak. We've got such strength, and we've got so many amazing supernatural powers of God supporting us and backing us and there for us. His word is alive, and I just thank you for giving us all that you've given us, all the tools in our tool belt, all of our armor, and your word. I ask that you just strengthen all of us in the ways we need strengthened. Touch our bodies, heal us, and just be with everyone in our community, in the areas that are struggling in the world. Just be there for everyone. Support their needs, love on them, show your presence, strengthen them, and allow them to just, for lack of better words, vomit you when they are squeezed. Allow them to just spew you in everything they are doing. Let your light shine. Papa, I thank you for what you're going to do. I thank you for what you're doing in our community. I thank you for what you're doing here. I thank you for how you love on each and every one of us, how you've brought us together, how you've strengthened us, how you are renewing us together, as Shelley said, that, and Jane and so many others shared today, that they come here for renewal. I give you that glory. You are the reason they are here. You are the renewal they needed. Thank you for using me. And I just ask that you continue to use me in every way you see fit. And just thank you for what you're going to do in each of our lives. Thank you for the abundance of so much. Thank you for your love, mercy, and grace. May we be a light to you, and may we shine. We love you and ask all of this in your holy and precious name of Jesus. Amen. All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a part of this community and being a light to others also, and an inspiration. So have a fabulous day. Again, next Wednesday is our community Zoom. So if you're part of our community, you will get an email the night before and the day of and 15 minutes prior, so you have the link to join us. If you're not part of our community, join us, TrayerWilderness.com/community. I may jump on here on YouTube for just a few minutes next Wednesday, just to love on you guys and to remind you to join the Zoom. But have a fabulous week. For those of you in the Bible study, I will see you tomorrow night. In Kids Corner, I will see you Friday. Have a good week. Let your light shine. Be renewed. Find your renewal from God. And just remember, you were made for a time like this. Be empowered by that. God's going to use you in a big way. So, guys, I love you. Take care, and God bless.